Hey there, it's Gregson. Welcome back to Shifting Lanes. Today we're talking about the Ram 1500 and what you need to know about this truck before you buy it, research it, or compare it to others in its class. And even if you're not in the market for a Ram 1500, stick around and watch to the end because there's some pretty interesting information I found when researching for this video that you may never have known before. In this video, we'll be going over what to look for on the Ram 1500. Things such as common issues, what's new for 2021 versus the 2020 model year, any major service bulletins on the car, any major recalls, and overall reliability ratings from trusted sources. We here at Shifting Lanes have driven this truck many times. Chad had the Ram 1500 on a press loan in early 2018, and Hanson reviewed the EcoDiesel 1500 in late 2019. Given that, we can come into this video confident that we can give you an accurate representation of this truck. If you'd like to see either of those reviews I just mentioned, check the description below for a playlist to all our other reviews, or click the card above to see our original 1500 review where Chad said that, at the time, it could be the best all-around truck ever. Before we get into the details on the 1500, let's go through a brief overview. The Ram 1500 really needs no introduction if you're in the truck world because it's one of the big three. Those of course being the 1500, the Chevy Silverado, and the Ford F-150. The other two trucks we'll go over in separate videos, so stay tuned for those in the near future. The Ram 1500 went through a major redesign in 2019 after a near 10-year model run from 2009 to 2018. When it came out, it was lauded by many as the best truck you could buy at the moment because that's exactly how the big three operate. The 1500 was the newest and most technologically advanced 2 years ago when it debuted, and people said it was the best. The same year, the Silverado was updated and redesigned to bring it on equal footing on the newness factor. The F-150 was redesigned back in 2015 and is due for a refresh soon. The opinions on the big three are split across the board depending on who you talk to. But it's interesting to know that when the newest one of the big three comes out, everyone seems to think that that is the best one at the time, and everyone kind of gravitates towards that, whether it be from automotive journals or general consumer consensus at the time. And the sales figures back up this one-upping every time when one of the big three has the newest truck. In 2018, the 1500 was in third place behind the Silverado. But then the 2019 redesign happened and it shot to second place, selling almost 100,000 more units in 2019 than 2018. The Silverado was then redesigned later in 2019, like I said, and it took second place back in the 2020 model year. All the while, the aging F-150, which was redesigned again, as I said, in 2015, has lost ground in sales each year since 2018. It's interesting to track all of this, but these three outsell basically everything else in the US year over year. As far as trim levels are concerned on the Ram 1500, you have 13 different models to choose from. I won't sit here and list them all out for you because I don't have a month of free time on my hands. However, I will say that you can start at a basic Ram 1500 Classic Tradesman, which is basically a bare bones work truck that starts at $28,450 and go all the way up to the brand new Ram TRX with a Hellcat engine for the base price of $70,095. Much like the Dodge Challenger that I recently did a what to know video on, the horsepower gap from base model to top trim is huge, with 305 horsepower from the base V6 all the way up to 702 horsepower with the Hellcat V8 in the TRX. Since the 1500 isn't all that different from 2020 to 2021, the key differences are a bunch of updates instead of an all-out redesign. The previously mentioned TRX trim is new, but the addition of that model led to some cool trickle-down updates for other trim levels. There's a new heads-up display option, a fully digital rearview mirror that uses a camera out back, and a reverse steering feature that helps when backing up to a trailer. On top of those, you also get off-road sections in the infotainment system that show ride height, pitch and roll monitoring, and transfer case mode. There are also some new trick safety features like pedestrian detection and forward collision warning. Finally, there's a special limited Longhorn 10th anniversary edition, should you want to purchase that, which has trim exclusive badging, mountain brown leather interior, and branded trim pieces. If you've made the decision to purchase the 1500, the rest of this information should help you make an informed decision about the truck itself. This isn't a video on how to negotiate pricing, but after this, you should be armed with a bit more knowledge on potential trouble areas, which may help in many different purchase-related scenarios. First, let's talk about any active recalls that the Ram 1500 has outstanding. Given that it has 13 recent model years under its belt as the Ram brand, as well as many years as the Dodge Ram, the 1500 has many recalls, and they will all be logged at the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA. You can find all of this information on nhtsa.gov or other sites that list this public information. Much like the 1500 trim types, I won't go into all of these as they warrant their own video, but here are a few major ones to watch out for and the model years that they relate to. For the 2009 through 2017 1500s, a vehicle may roll away. Yep, just roll away. Being able to shift the transmission without pushing the brake pedal and/or without a key in the ignition can increase the risk of an unintended vehicle rollaway that may result in personal injury or a crash. This is an extremely serious recall for obvious reasons. It has to do with pushing the brake pedal for prolonged periods when the vehicle is running and in park. Doing this may cause the brake transmission shift interlock, or BTSI pin, to stick in the open position. With the pin in the open position, the transmission can be shifted out of park into any gear without pushing the brake pedal or having the key in the ignition. That's kind of serious. For the 2014 through 2019 Ram 1500 and 1500 Classic pickup trucks equipped with the 3-liter eco-diesel engines, EGR cooler may crack and cause fire. Yes, I said fire. The exhaust gas recirculation, or EGR cooler, may crack and allow preheated vaporized coolant to enter the EGR system. This mixture may combust inside the intake manifold. Fire is bad in cars and trucks. Unless that fire is controlled explosions in the engine to make cars and trucks go fast, then fire is good. Fire is very good. Intake manifold fires, not so much. And finally, for the 2014 through 2019 Ram 1500s, cruise control cannot be canceled. This is actually a very similar recall it's actually the exact same recall to the Dodge Challenger that I just made a video on. It reads, if the vehicle maintains its speed or accelerates despite attempts to deactivate the cruise control, there will be an increased risk of a crash. This basically means that your cruise control will take over the car and continue on its merry way at the speed it's going, or with the potential for acceleration. This happens when, using cruise control, there may be a short circuit within the vehicle's wiring. As we know with past unwanted acceleration crashes with Toyota products, this could be a potentially deadly scenario. Before buying this truck, you'll need to ask the dealer or private party if these recalls and all other recalls have been done. If they haven't, that's not necessarily a red flag, as the previous owner may not have done the recall work or just not known about them at all. Just have the dealer do the recall work, get it in writing, and you should be fine to move forward to the next step. Again, you can find all of the recall information on nhtsa.gov or one of many other sites like Consumer Reports or Car Complaints. This is all public information, and you should absolutely do this research before buying any vehicle. On to the Technical Service Bulletins, or TSBs, for the 1500. If you don't know what a TSB is, it's a communication from the manufacturer, like Ram or Dodge, that document recommended procedures for repairing vehicles, and they happen when there are several occurrences of an unanticipated problem. For example, if consumers keep reporting that their doors won't lock and it's happening across many different shops or dealers, the manufacturer will look into it, and if there's a fix, they will issue a TSB, so that if it happens again, the fix is easily understood and rectified. The manufacturer may also find fixes proactively and issue a TSB if the fix does not require a recall. For the 1500, there are hundreds of TSBs across all model years of the truck. However, this isn't a standard for reliability. Almost all cars and trucks have dozens, if not hundreds, of TSBs for each model year. So take this into consideration when doing your research. For the 1500, I won't go into all of the TSBs they list, but if you're more DIY inclined, it's worth poking around in the TSBs should you find something wrong with your truck and want to fix it yourself. You may find a TSB with a fix you need and could save yourself hundreds in repair costs with the right know-how. It's also worth poking around websites that list this information to get a better understanding of where other potential problem areas may lie. Finally, it's also worth noting that carcomplaints.com, a very good resource for this information, has the top 3 trouble areas on the 1500 as air suspension does not work properly for the 2014 1500. Average cost to fix of $1,600. Engine light on, vague, for the 2016 1500 with an average cost to fix of $4,600. And engine blue on the 2015 1500 with an average cost to fix of $7,300. This all leads me to my final point on the Ram 1500, which is overall reliability. Currently, the jury is still out on overall reliability here. I say this because despite Consumer Reports, among other sites, giving the 1500 overall low reliability, the customer satisfaction ratings are above average. This shows a few things. First, people love their trucks. I mean love them. If you don't live in the US and you're watching this video and you don't get the truck craze, you won't. Truck people think of them as second or third children. So with that in mind, it makes a lot of sense. Second, newer models are likely to have some less issues than the older models, and that's evidenced by the 2021 model getting the best rating from Consumer Reports than any in its class. Second place goes to the Toyota Tundra, not the F-150 or the Silverado, with the exact same overall score, but it scored less in other categories like road test, noise, and ride. When researching, Consumer Reports is a great resource for reliability ratings and complaints, as most of these are user-reported or buyer reported. However, it's worth noting that this is a paid service and you'll need to pony up a subscription to unlock all of their ratings. Given that, I can't show you their report. However, I can note that their findings do match up to the NHTSA bulletins, complaints, and recalls, with most of the car being good and the trouble spots being the engine-related stuff that I've mentioned in the mid-2010s models. With all of this being said, do we recommend you still go in to buy or test drive a Ram 1500? That answer is yes, but just be cautious. The newer Ram 1500s do seem to have the best user and overall scores when you look at comparisons from major automotive journals, and we sure liked having ours for the 7-day loans from FCA, which is now called Stellantis. When going to look, make sure the truck has a full service history, any major recalls done, and no outstanding issues, and you should be good to go. If any of the issues mentioned, or new ones, do crop up, you will still likely have a factory warranty to cover you should anything happen. So go ahead and shop with confidence. Lastly, I want to hear from you. Would you buy a Ram 1500? Are you a Ram, Ford, or Chevy person? Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I really want to hear the differences between Ram, Ford, and Chevy people. I always wanted to have that in one place, and I think this video is a great place to do that, so let's hear it in the comments. I hope this video does help you in making your buying decision a bit easier. If you liked it or found it informative, please consider hitting the subscribe button, turning on the notification bell, and giving this video a thumbs up. If you want to follow us outside of YouTube, you can follow us at Shifting Lanes on Facebook and Instagram, where we post things about our cars that we review, our personal cars, and industry news and adventures. Again, my name is Gregson. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.